And that brings us to politics, which is always on the unofficial Mackinac agenda. So I'll bring back Stephen Henderson and Nolan Finley, our One Detroit contributors, because we do have midterm elections, high offices up. Always change the atmosphere just a little bit more hustling around here. Nolan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of candidates for all sorts of office, working this porch, working the lobby, trying to raise money, trying to gain endorsements and support. It's sort of fun to watch. I mean, particularly a lot of folks here from that 13th district race, which I think a third of Detroit is running for that seat.
I'm still thinking about it. I don't know yet.
You still have time, but you make sure your signatures
I don't live in
that. And of course, we saw yesterday, Court of Appeals told Perry Johnson, "You're not getting on the ballot. You didn't get your signatures," and that's sort of the core thing you got to do if you want to run for office. You got to get on the ballot, and a whole lot of Republicans didn't get on the ballot in that gubernatorial race, and so I think Gretchen Whitmer can sleep a lot easier looking at the field she faces this time around. I don't think there's anybody there who can beat her.
Does that go for the rest of the ticket, Stephen?
Well, Secretary of State and Attorney General, I think the Republican nominees for those offices also give an enormous pass to the incumbents. I mean, I think there are issues, no matter what you think of Jocelyn Benson or Dana Nessel, I mean, there are issues that you could pick up and say, hey, look, I would do this differently, or I think I could do this better. But you got to have the right vessel to make that argument. You got to have a candidate that people don't think is bananas. And these two folks who've been nominated for those two offices on the GOP side don't seem like credible candidates, no matter what they might say or what issues they might try to focus on. And so it's a strange strategy in a year when Democrats are going to have a hard time nationally. It's a midterm election. They're supposed to lose a lot of the political ground that they gained 2 years ago. I'm not sure that's going to happen in Michigan.
We also have new districts, and we've got, state house seats, the turnover again. And we talk about this, having this cohesive plan of moving forward. It feels like, we'll get new legislators in and that have to come up to speed on what are the policies that we need to put in place and long-term change that we need to do to impact things.
Yeah, now you have redistricting coupled with term limits. You got about a third of the folks in the current Senate aren't going to be in the Senate. Hopefully there will be a term limits proposal on the ballot in November where voters get a chance to change that. And I think that'll be the single biggest improvement we can make to government in Michigan is altering term limits to give people a little more time, a little more experience in the legislature.
Well, because the state of Michigan, according to a survey from the Detroit Regional Chamber, 70% of people say we are headed in the wrong direction. Stephen.
I don't know. I feel like every time you take that survey, most people say, no, this is all wrong. I want something different.
That's
you
because
give
people usually don't take time to leave positive reviews. It's usually negative, right?
They give them something different, then they're like, no, I still want something different. Look, that dissatisfaction is I think, is going to have a bigger effect at the national level from Michigan than it will locally. I think we're not going to see credible challenges to the statewide offices that we should. All three are Democratic. I don't know how you unseat any of them given the politics and the challenges that people have. Nationally, though, I think that really has got to concern the Biden administration. They're going into a midterm where numbers look much worse than they did even for the first Obama midterm, which was
and people are upset about inflation. They are upset about the economy.
They are.
The last time people were this angry, this dissatisfied, I think, was 2010, and that election washed out Democrats
a lot of people
up and down the ballot. It wasn't just national level. I mean, even
right.
in county commissions, and then the before that the 2000 and the second Bush election, where Republicans got washed out.
Yeah.
When voters get this angry, it's a bad time to be incumbent in the ruling party. It really
All right,
is.
so we have some money infusion here in the state of Michigan. What should we be concentrating right now on? Infusing education, infrastructure?
Yes.
Give me your wish list, Stephen.
So business leaders
yes
from
to all of the above, right?
Business leaders from Michigan has this really great list out now about the path to top 10, right? Look at what's on that list. Education, cooperation among legislative and business and education interests to do that. Investment in people, investment in infrastructure, the things we talk about all the time and don't move the needle on quite as much. You got to have a leader, I think, who can bring people together around that agenda and use that money for it.
Last word, Nolan.
Yeah, we are at risk of losing our bread and butter industry as it moves into this electric vehicle future. I think every dollar we can spend on making Michigan competitive for new battery plants, new EV production, we need to be spending because it's going someplace else now. And those are generational decisions. Those will affect the industry for 50 years and we won't get them back. And you lose the auto industry here, I don't know that anything else matters.
I think it's interesting, some of the conversations that I'm sure have started up here at Mackinac and will continue off the island. Stephen Henderson, Nolan Finley, it's always good to see you guys.